Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rotoballer Radio Waiver Wire Series. Today, looking at the Week 8 waiver wire for the quarterback and tight end position. Don't forget, folks, head over to rotoballer.com, check out everything there, main page, premium package, expert chats, and make sure you sign up for any premium pass using the promotional code ACES. Save yourself an additional 10% discount. Okay, so we are, Week 8, only two teams on bye, so Ravens and Raiders. No Lamar Jackson, no Derek Carr. Both actually hurt at the quarterback position as Derek Carr has emerged as a streaming option at the quarterback position. And then really hurts at the tight end position where you lose Mark Andrews and you've already lost Darren Waller to injury and his backup, Foster Moreau, who had a nice game and does make our tight end list as a handcuff to Darren Waller going forward. But you get a lot of players back. Maybe you don't need a quarterback this week. If you have depth at the position behind Lamar Jackson like I do, I have Kirk Cousins, who's over 70% rostered. But in case you are looking for a quarterback, maybe you're reliant on Sam Darnold, we have the Patrick Mahomes. Is he concussed? Is he not situation in Kansas City? Well, we have to pay attention to Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins. 48% rostered on Yahoo. Goes 291, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in their loss in Week 7. 32 of 40 on the day. Like we mentioned, four carries for 29 yards. Finished with 34.5 fantasy points. Now, that being said, I hate his matchup next week at Buffalo. Any of the quarterbacks today, you shouldn't need them. It's really just a Lamar Jackson situation. Maybe you add depth behind Patrick Mahomes. Now, number 2 on my list is my depth where I have Patrick Mahomes, and that's Trevor Lawrence of the Jaguars. Coming off the bye, okay, facing the Seattle Seahawks Week 8 on the road in Seattle. Seattle has allowed 5 quarterbacks this season with 20 or more fantasy points, and Trevor Lawrence has at least 17 in each of his last 3 games. He's 40% rostered, so Trevor Lawrence is available in spots. Again, if you want to back up Patrick Mahomes, if you're nervous about him playing next week, or if you're looking to make up for the loss of Lamar Jackson. And number 3, and at this point, Mac Jones needs to be on teams. He's playing every week. That New England offense looking better each and every week. Mac Jones, 24 for 36. Yeah, it was beating up the Jets, but it's still something to be mindful of. And could be forced into a shootout Week 8 against the Chargers on the road. He went for 307, first time in his career over 300 yards. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 26.2 fantasy points. He now has 2 touchdowns passes in 3 of his last 4 games. So, if you ask me, Anthony, who am I adding this week? I'm desperate. Back up Patrick Mahomes. I'm losing Lamar Jackson. Unless there's somebody out there I'm missing on Yahoo that's not rostered in your league, a Kirk Cousins type. Okay, then I go number 1, Trevor Lawrence. Number 2, Tua. Only because, and I like Tua the rest of the season. I just don't like Tua this week on the road at Buffalo. And then number 3, Mac Jones. Now, at the tight end position, you lose Andrews, you lose Waller to injury. Well, first off, let's start with this. He's number 4 overall on my list. But if you have Darren Waller, Foster Moreau has to be the number 1 tight end. He is the direct replacement to Darren Waller. Who knows where we are in 2 weeks with Waller's injury situation. So get Foster Moreau on your team. 3% rostered. 6 receptions on 6 targets, 60 yards and a touchdown, 18 points. You should get him for next to nothing. A $1 bid should do because of the bye week situation. Okay, he's not helping whoever has Mark Andrews, and he's not helping you this week if you have Darren Waller, but better have him than to not if Darren Waller is not able to go in 2 weeks. So overall now at the number 1 position, at the tight end position, is C.J. Uzomah of the Cincinnati Bengals. 18% rostered, 3 receptions on 3 targets, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Burrow have a day against the Baltimore Ravens, 24.1 fantasy points, and they're going to have some fun next week in New York against that Jets defense that Mac Jones tore up. Hunter Henry had a touchdown at the tight end position. Okay, Uzomah, 3 of his last 4 games with 10 or more fantasy points, 2 of those 3 with 20 or more fantasy points. At number 2 is Robert Tonyan, 51% rostered. Okay, I added him in an FFPC where he had been dropped, where I had Dawson Knox and Dalton Schultz. I was going to add him anyway because they both had a bye in week 7. But now Dawson Knox, failed to mention at the start, right? He's out for a couple of weeks with an injury. Tanyan plays his best game of the season. 4 receptions on 5 targets, 63 yards and a touchdown, 16.3 fantasy points, and what should be a fun game, week 8, when the Packers go to Arizona to play the Cardinals. And number 3 at the tight end position is Ricky Seals-Jones of the Washington football team. 55% rostered, 27 fantasy points over his last 2 weeks. In his last 3 weeks, 15 receptions and 22 targets. This week, 7 targets, 6 receptions, 51 yards. Doesn't get in the end zone. Finishes with 11.1 fantasy points on the road at Denver. You have Darren Waller, add Moreau. If you don't have Darren Waller, CJ Uzomah 1, Robert Tanyan 2, and Ricky Seals 3 at the tight end position. All right, everybody. Give me a follow on Twitter at Aniano Fantasy. Make sure you like and subscribe right here on the Rotoballer YouTube channel or wherever you listen to the Rotoballer Radio podcasts. We'll see you next time with all the waiver wire action right here, courtesy of Rotoballer Radio. Stay smart, stay safe. Have a good one, folks.